Hi everybody, in this video we learn how to organize text with the string type. We can create a string by putting quotation marks around some characters. When doing so, we can use any character we can find on our keyboard and more. We can also join strings together after one another using the plus sign. We can also use strings directly with the plus operation, using quotation marks again. In this example, we added an empty space between the two strings here. We can also use a number with the multiplication sign to get a string joined together as many times as we want. Like lists, strings also come with a lot of methods that help us do things. So let's look at some of those. For example, the capitalize method allows us to convert the first character in a string to uppercase. This really only works for the first character in a string and not the first character in each word. When we have several words in a string, only the first word is capitalized. But don't worry, there is another method called split, which can give us each word from a string as an item in a list. Now that we have this list, we can capitalize each individual word with a for loop. First, we print the old version and for comparison then, the capitalized version. There is also a way to connect a list of strings, but it looks pretty awkward. It is this one where we call the join method through a string literal and pass it the list we want to connect. Between the strings in the list is the string we called the join operation from. In our case, that is just a space. It turns out we can call methods through the name of an object, but also through the literal object. Here the name of the object is joiner, and the literal representation of the object on the right of the name is just the quotation marks with the empty space. We can also call now the join function through the name of our string object and get the same result. We can also, of course, use any string to join our list as shown here. This construction looks really stupid, especially in its literal form, because we call the method from the string we want to end up between each individual string. But there are great reasons why it works this way. First of all, the split method is a string method, so the join method should also be a string method. However, split string is a list that contains the strings we want to join, and implementing a join method for lists that only works on strings doesn't make a lot of sense. It is too specific. Since lists can contain any kind of object, list methods should work on all kinds of objects. So this is the construction we are stuck with, and while it looks strange, it works. Now we also have the upper function, which we can use to make an entire string uppercase. We can also make an entire string lowercase with the lower function. Some of the things we learned about lists also work for strings. That is because both lists and strings are sequences. A list is a sequence of objects and a string is a sequence of characters. This means that we can index into a string the same way we did for lists. That also means that we can loop through a string with the for loop. This loop simply goes through each character and prints it. Now that's it for now. Just remember that strings can do things, and some of those things are the same that lists can do. In the next video, we will use our newfound knowledge about strings to do something completely useless. See ya!